Welcome to video 3 in the fibromyalgia series on self-care. In this video, we start to put together the pieces of how it was we got here. Understanding our body is key. In fact, along the way, we've ignored a number of things. We may have ignored our instincts that told us not to do something for a certain cause. Perhaps it went against our better sense of what our feelings suggested was necessary, and we still soldiered along. Or perhaps our body gave us certain signs that we neglected to listen to. We failed to listen to these and forged ahead. Did the things that was necessary, whether it was giving up a day for ourselves, for others, self-sacrifice for our families, or tending to other people's needs beyond our own. So the question is what to do at this stage. At this stage, it's necessary to start to listen to each of these things. For some of us, our feelings may be completely irrelevant, and for years we've neglected them because regardless, we have certain responsibilities to fill. In this case, we're using our journals along the way to establish what some of these feelings are that it may be necessary to reconnect with after this time. That's a starting point as an example. What not to do, what no to do, we have at least one or two things that you as an exercise will choose that we can set aside that are things we really do not enjoy doing, and we can stop doing them right now. These may not be laborious things, but number one might be being hard on ourselves and being perfectionists in not cutting ourselves any slack. That's an example. You can pause and set aside two things that you plan on stopping doing immediately. At this point in time, we really have to stop making excuses. We have to stop making excuses about the past and what happened. It's completely irrelevant. From here on forward, we commit to ourselves that we will emphasize healing, and that healing will take place either through our journals or through whatever help we seek fit. We also have to stop making excuses for others. This may mean self-advocacy, where perhaps we have laid quiet and gone along with things for years. Now is the time to speak up for ourselves, start to advocate for ourselves. We may decrease our popularity, however, certainly we will feel better inside as we start to argue and advocate for ourselves in our best interests. This also will contribute to our health. Lastly, we need to stop making excuses for ourselves as to why we didn't do what we needed to do. And again, we need to move on and forgive ourselves for what we didn't do. I know that we're all talking about the same thing, and I know at some point in our lives we've each been here. We'll need to start to take advantage. There are lots of people that wish to share their successes in healing, and these are posted on the internet as a resource. There are also a number of books that we'll come to speak about in the future that are available that talk about adrenal fatigue and certain plans for focusing on recovery in fibromyalgia. For a while, you may need to remove yourself from other friendships or a number of friendships that perhaps are not as valuable as you thought. You start to see that, and we've all seen this, that as we start to get more ill and not available, that perhaps our friends will dwindle in number. And this is a good thing. This is an opportunity to focus on ourselves, to read, to find resources available so that we can heal. Part of this means that we'll be selective with our time and how we spend it. For example, perhaps where we had an hour of TV or an hour and a half zoning out in front of the TV, now we can read, meditate, and work on food preparation, for example, which we'll come to speak about. In this new lifestyle, we can all agree that change is here. Whether or not we wished for this illness and recovery is a choice. And so change is already here. Where to start? Things do not have to be complicated. In fact, part of the new lifestyle recognizes that things need to be simpler and easier. Along with changes in diet, we can look to some of the things including exercise, lifestyle, how we manage things that can become easier for us. Common elements in terms of changes in diet is where we need to start. There are a number of different schools of thought as to which diet is the best diet and is a contributing factor towards healing. But we can certainly say that all of these diets have something in common, and that is that they contain very little sugar, if at all, any sugar. Lean meats and fish are predominantly mixed with lots of different vegetables that are colorful. Acidic foods are avoided, and nightshade vegetables are also avoided, such as eggplants, tomatoes, and so on. Less grains are part of the category. In fact, white bread, white flours, and any white starches of any nature are removed. And if one is to retain grains at all, then spelt, quinoa, and some of the healthier options should be selections.